Welcome back to Inside Politics. Our guest today is Ken Jost, leading analyst of the U.S. Supreme Court. Ken, the Chief Justice, when he wrote his deciding decision on the DACA case, he more or less gave a roadmap in there of how, if the administration had done it right, DACA could be repealed. Do you expect the administration to come back and do that pretty quickly, and maybe try to get DACA ended even before the election?
Well, the president immediately said, "Well, we'll try again," and so they'll have to they'll have to run the bases, and we'll see what they come up with. But once the Trump administration does its homework better, there will be more litigation. And the thing about litigation is it's slower than molasses. So we'll just have to see what happens.
So getting it back through the court again may be a tough thing to do between now and the November election, or even before next January.
Yeah, it won't get up to the Supreme Court a second time, but there will be lower court judges who will look at anything that the Trump administration gives, and there will be judges inclined to be dubious. On the other hand, there may be some Trump-appointed judges who will be inclined to go along with what the administration comes up with.
Normally this time in June, we're down to just a couple of cases left, if that many, before the court ends its term. Now there's still double-digit cases remaining. Some of that's because of what happened with the delay with the virus, because they had to delay the arguments, and that means it takes time to figure out where the court breaks out and who writes all the decisions. So we're going to go into July to get all these decided?
That's correct. It's been a very, very odd term because the justices have not been in the courtroom since March 3rd. The last 10 cases were argued by telephone, and the justices, the court has been issuing decisions not with the justices on the bench, but just posting them online. And the Public Information Office hasn't even been handing out decisions. So I mean, it's been a very strange 3 months now, and I guess they will all recognize each other when they get back together, if they do.
They have a number of decisions. Go ahead.
If the social distancing rules are still in effect in October, they may not meet in person in October either.
They've got a number of cases that are before them they need to decide that have an impact perhaps on the presidential race. There's a couple of cases about getting the records, President Trump's records. Two different groups wanting them. These cases have been combined before the court. One, the U.S. Congressman, congressional committees want some of his financial records, and so does a investigation going on somewhere else in the country that the judge has actually issued a subpoena for them. Might we get, even though it's one case, get two different rulings because of two different sets of people are asking for these records?
Indeed. So the district attorney in Manhattan has a criminal investigation going on about President Trump's finances. Two House committees want to see President Trump's financial records, ostensibly for a legislative purpose, but the conservative justices were pretty dubious about Congress's real interest during the oral arguments in May. And so, yes, but the conservative justices were also dubious about allowing a local district attorney to go after the President of the United States.
You've also got the issue of faithless electors. This has been an issue in the last couple of elections, and the court's heard about that. Don't they need to rule on that one fairly quickly? Because those people are going to be coming or making their vote. They're going to be casting their electoral votes not long after the November election.
Absolutely right, and we need to point out that there's one abortion case pending from Louisiana, Louisiana passed a law just like a Texas law that the court struck down 4 years ago, and both sides are really looking at that case for clues about what's going to happen down the road.
And that case, now as you've got the two new justices, conservative justices, that may turn that now from being striking down the law, they may upheld this particular law now that they have a different case before them.
With two different justices, you could easily imagine Justice Kavanaugh casting a deciding vote to uphold Louisiana's law and thus give states a little more leeway to regulate abortion clinics. And so, the anti-abortion folks are looking at the case with hope in their mind, and the abortion rights advocates are looking at it with a lot of anxiety.
The last few presidential cycles have seen a lot of particular situations where both sides are trying to motivate their bases by saying this election is important because the next president, whoever that may be, is going to appoint Supreme Court justices, and the balance may be tipping one way or the other. We're going to see that again this time, particularly in light of some of the decisions we've just been talking about on this program.
No retirements expected during calendar year 2020, but in 2021, after, when in the next president's term, whoever that may be, Mr. Trump or Mr. Biden, almost certainly there will be retirements within the next 2, 3, 4 years. Justice Ginsburg wants to hold on. Justice Ginsburg is 87. Justice Breyer is 83. He's in good health for an 80-year-old man. Justice Ginsburg is, a 3-time cancer survivor, but she's very, very intent on holding on until she reaches age 90, 3 years from now.
Ken Yost, one of the leading analysts on the U.S. Supreme Court, is our guest on Inside Politics. We're talking about the end of the Supreme Court term, some cases still to be decided. Back to continue our conversation after this break.